Previously, in the anime, during the school tournament, before the battle tournament begins, the school had organized a party to observe the behavior and etiquette of the students. There, one of the moron who got beaten by Makoto threatened him that he would crush his students. Ilumgand was from a noble family close to the royal family, and there were many others who were aiming at Makoto, Princess Lily, the church, and who knows how many, so they pulled the strings and paired Makoto's students against each other. It was a clear conspiracy, but without proof, Makoto can't raise his finger. So the first match starts in the warriors category. It was Jean against Mitra. Safety of kids were promised that the wooden doll would take all the damage, and if the doll is broken the participant will lose its match. Jean easily won the round because Mitra kept defending himself. Then the next round was like a children's fight they observed. Then it was Shifu against Abelia. Abelia had the agility and dodged Shifu's fire spell. But Shifu had target-seeking spell, so she caught her from a turn spell and caught Abelia in a earth spell. With this Shifu won. But nobles thinks she won because of her money. They thinks it's not a noble way to fight like that, attacking with a agile spell. But Lily stood up for Shifu, and even the king supported Lily in this, that she showed her skills, not some underhanded tactics. Then Shifu won yet another match, and just like her, Jean also won his match. Both were excellent in their own category. So at last Jean was up against Ilumgand. He boasted so much that he would crush Makoto's students, but even with that high-end gear, this moron couldn't even hold his sword against Jean. Jean completely crushed him and won fair and square, so Ilumgand planned to use something underhanded for the team battle. Then winner of their own category came for a match, and clearly Shifu had the advantage as a mage. She beat Jean in a second and won one-on-one match category. But at night Rembrandt tells Makoto that the head of the merchant guild wants to meet him, so the next day Makoto couldn't make it to watch the tournament, and today was team's battle. But a new restriction was laid out suddenly, that a team should have level 365 combined participants, which means Makoto's students would be outnumbered. Someone did this on purpose, but Makoto's students were unparalleled, even with a clear disadvantage in numbers. And on the other side, Makoto's meets the head of merchant. Their conversation runs long, but to cut a long story short, many other rich merchants were so jealous of Makoto and his success that they accused him of taking help from demons for his business. Makoto's purchase of materials has no roots or travel records, and Makoto can't tell him he gets his ingredients from Demi-Plane, so he made up that he uses Rembrandt's wagons for supplies. But the guy didn't want to believe and asked to disclose his distribution method to the guild. So Makoto tried to resolve it with money, but that's a fatal mistake he did, because in a way he admits he's guilty. So the guild leader asked him to hand over 90% of his income or forget about doing business in their town. Obviously no one can hand over that sum of profits, so Makoto told him he uses a teleportation spell for getting supplies and reveal a bit to him. His followers were pissed off, especially Mio, because Makoto became a merchant solely to provide cheap medicine. But this is the real face of being a businessman, so Tomo suggests that this is a chance to join Demon's side. Makoto agreed to that, but he also wants to stay in contact with humans and planned to take the land of his parents' home country, for which Makoto had already planned everything. But aside from them, Ilumgand had met Loria when they were kids, and he pretty much fell in love with her from that moment. And next up is, Makoto contacts Rona and tells her to take back all the demons hiding in the city, because Ilumgand is sure to make a ruckus, so he doesn't want additional problems. Rona agreed, and Makoto called Eva to discuss something. She thought Makoto wants to take her on. Not that Eva disliked that thought, she was ready for that request, but Makoto had asked her something else. Then the next day, tournament took place for its last phrase, and Ilumgand gathered his team for crushing Makoto's students, but he was using something strange, and Shiki says it's magic medicine or something for strength. But more so, he had an strange cloaked amulet as well. It was a 7 versus 3, and Ilumgand wants to win anyhow. He had met Hibiki before, and it seems like he had fallen for her as well, but he can't accompany her because he was a student, but still promised to catch up to her so that he could fight together with her. This idiot is playing victim, clearly. Then he meets Loria again. Loria was a noble from Kalian, and that territory was attacked and taken by demon. But she and her sister managed to survive as her parents sent them to safety, so Ilumgand's friend started to ridicule her for running away. As a noble they should have fought for their people, and Ilumgand joined his friend's side just to save some face. So Laura says, "You all are just immature kids who haven't seen the life and death situation. They can't know what she has been through, so they have no right to judge her as well." And for talking back, Ilumgand showed anger. And that's when Makoto arrived and beat him and his friends. So he gets back to see Loria again and saw Makoto there. He couldn't come out because of him. Then a girl offered him a potion that makes the consumer powerful, so he started to take it, but that girl was none other than Rona, and she even gave that amulet that turns the wearers into something else. Then the match started, but it was on the verge of ending in an instant. Jean was fighting Ilumgand, but something was clearly wrong with him, but the referee and officials didn't stop the match. So Izumi used an air spell and Yuno hit Ilumgand multiple times in the air combat. Now that was a sure win for them, but suddenly the amulet started showing its effect and filled Ilumgand with a foreign mana. He was no longer a human now, and Makoto and his followers knew it was Rona's doing, so now it was messy as to whom they should trust. Everyone was trying to take advantage of Makoto, and he remembers his plan was to take back Eva's homeland and hide himself there, but now it's hard to think what to do. This idiot is still playing victim, and the entire Rostgard city was filled with people like Ilumgand. So something big is going to happen. And that's where episode 15 and 16 ends, but if you missed the previous episodes of this anime, don't worry, I have created a playlist where you could watch all of the episodes, playlist link in description. Please watch the missed out episode to understand the story. Until then, take care.